And welcome back to Daily Justice. I'm your host, Dave Erickson. We are here in downtown Spokane at Stella's Cafe and Bar. Kind of a nice casual atmosphere. My guest today is Mark Iverson, a adoption attorney here in the area. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now, you've been practicing for what, 20 years in Eastern Washington and Idaho?
That's right.
How'd you get involved? How'd you get started?
Well, I graduated from Gonzaga University in 1988, and I've lived in Spokane, grew up in Spokane, love it here, and so I decided to stay.
So why adoption? That's your specialty.
Right. Well, you know, I started out like a lot of attorneys, not really knowing what I wanted to do. What happened was my wife and I couldn't have kids, and so we decided to adopt. In fact, we had talked about adoption before we even considered it. And when we couldn't have kids, we said, let's adopt. So we ended up with three of the most beautiful kids you could imagine. And it's turned out to be the biggest grace of my life, because if I had been able to have kids, I wouldn't have had kids that looked as good as they do. My wife and I could never have had kids this beautiful. And it also led to a whole practice as an attorney.
This has got to help you with credibility with your clients as a family who has used adoption in their real life.
Right, right. Well, I think it does. I mean, I can really relate to a lot of families out there that aren't able to have kids. And I know the pain of that, I know the grief of that, but I also know the joy of being able to adopt a kid.
So your office and staff deals with adoption, but there's different types and areas of that. Can you kind of run through some of those?
Sure, sure. We do every type of adoption there is. So we match birth mothers with adoptive parents and facilitate what's called a private adoption. We do step-parent adoptions, adult adoptions. An adult adoption is where an adult is adopted, for instance, by a step-parent who, while the child was a minor, the birth father would not agree to allow the adoption, and they become an adult and then they are adopted by that person. We do same-sex adoptions, international readoptions, and agency adoptions.
How many clients do you work with, let's say, on any given year?
We do approximately 250 to 275 adoptions a year. Yeah.
Now, in the area of law, this has got to be one of the categories that gives the attorney the greatest satisfaction, I have to assume, when you're bringing families together.
Well, it does. I mean, what you're really dealing with is joy and grief at the same time. You're dealing with the grief of not being able to have kids, but the joy of having a child. You're dealing with a birth mother's grief of not being able to raise a kid, but also you're supporting her and assisting her in placing a baby with a family that she knows will be able to love that baby in a way that she's not able to.
Mark, how can people learn more about your services and your staff?
Well, we have a website. It's adoptionwa.com, adoptionwa.com. You can also reach us at 509-462-3678.
Mark Iverson, thanks very much for your time.
You bet. Thank you very much.